take a vote. No, this is the only one. This only gave me one. So I'm going to sign it and I'll hand it to you. Okay. You okay, big guy? Close enough. Okay.
He's even managing a number of this.
It's okay. We got plenty of time.
Once I sit.
You can get here by closed session, just so he's excused. Hey, Clarence, buddy, are we ready to go, buddy? We're ready? Are we on? Okay. The regularly scheduled board meeting of the Clintondale Board of Education for November 12th, 2024 is called to order. My first meeting calling it order to late, 6:32. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Jones, our veteran, sir, lead the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Noak, would you please call the roll? And Mr. Powers has asked to be excused, but he is going to try and make it. So, Mrs. Noak, please call the roll.
Ms. Kaminsky.
Here.
Ms. Zontini.
Present.
Mr. Jones.
Present.
Mr. Manning.
Here.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, here. And Mr. Maynard.
Here, showing 6 members present, 1 excused. Also in attendance this evening is Alex Hitchell, our communications director, Carla Kelly, our supervisor in the maintenance department, Presley Dorset, our chief financial officer, and the gentleman who will be presenting this evening from Lewis and Knopf. I'm drawing a blank right now, but thank you for coming. I appreciate you. And Tim Victor, our SRO, is here, and as well as Melissa Klopsky, hello Melissa, our daycare person in charge, and the Honorable James Biernet, the Chief Judge of the Macomb County Circuit Court, has joined us this evening for a very special purpose. Board members, I have a few changes to the agenda, and once we do this, then we can get started. After approval of the agenda, I would like to add an item for swearing in, an item for a presentation, an item for a presentation, an item for a board statement, and then closed session number 10 to discuss contract negotiations. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda as presented to you?
So moved.
Mr. Manning, is there support?
Support.
Ms. Kaminsky. Board members, is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Mrs. Valerio Noak, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Manning.
Here. Vote yes, sorry.
That's okay. Ms. Kaminsky.
Votes yes.
Ms. Zontini.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes. And Mr. Maynard.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. In accordance with our newly adopted agenda, we will move to the first item, which is the swearing in. I will go down here for the process, and we will get started. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here this evening. We have 5 candidates who will be taking their oath of office this evening. Each candidate has one election, but we are all waiting on certification. So their various seats will be taken once their time frame is allowed and once their certification has been completed. This evening we are joined by Chief Judge Jim Biernet of the Macomb County Circuit Court, who I will now bring up to offer some words, and then we will start the oaths of office. Judge?
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Jared, for inviting me here for the swearing in. I'm deeply honored. Of course, sometimes people overlook, or they don't think, they overlook school board elections. But in reality, with respect to, our future leaders, our future doctors, lawyers, nurses, police officers, they come from grade schools, high schools, and they need leadership over them while they're here. And that's what these school boards are providing. And it's very important for the future that we get good candidates to sit on school boards. So congratulations to everyone. Again, thank you very much for inviting me.
The first person taking her oath this evening is Ms. Lisa Wilson. And Ms. Wilson, if you would come forward and bring your family, we'll get the oath ready to go. Lee, do we have a copy of it? Sign. Lisa, if you'd stand here, and if your family would crowd behind you, and Alex, you got the camera, if you guys want your own picture, yeah, you better get up there. For you. Family, just slide around. Teresa, everybody slide in.
Holy Moses.
All right. Raise your right hand and swear after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of a member of the Board of Education of Clintondale Community Schools,
member of the Board of Education of Clintondale
Community
Community
Schools,
Schools,
Macomb County,
Macomb County,
Michigan,
Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So help me
ability.
God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
Well, yes, I'm very thrilled and honored to be given this opportunity. I'm excited to hopefully be an impact to the school board, the community, the parents, the faculty, and the children. I look to come in and just help in any way that I can. I'm looking forward to partnering with everyone, as I said, and hopefully we can build on the legacy that Clintondale has had through the decades, not only with helping the kids improve their proficiency scores, but also building on the extracurricular activities as well. And again, thank you.
Next person being sworn in is Mr. Wilson. Are you ready, sir? Okay.
Raise your right hand and swear after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state, and
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
member of the Board of Education of Clintondale Community Schools,
the Board of Education of Clintondale Community Schools,
Macomb County,
Macomb County,
Michigan,
Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Oh, I want to thank my mother for coming out, my sister, of course, my family, you know, my pastor, of course, school board members. Thank you so much for Coach Jones, all the support. I will say this: our family has been part of, we call it Quinn Road. Our family has been part of the Clintondale community for quite some time. My father, my grandparents, we love the community. And like my sister said, we're going to do the best we can to make a difference. You know, so we love it here. Can't wait to get started.
Before you both go, we'll take a quick family shot with the judge for your records. Judge, if you can slide in the center there. Sure. Thank you, Kurt and Lisa, and I look forward to serving with you here in the very short future, once your paperwork is in order and January 1st comes across. All right. The next person taking the oath of office is our current board secretary, Miss Lisa Valerio Noak, who will be joined by her husband, Jim Noak. Lisa?
I don't have enough, so I just have my.
I got 2 peas in the pie.
Raise your right hand and swear after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of member of the Board of Education of Clintondale Community Schools
of the office of the member of the Board of Education of Clintondale Community School,
Macomb County,
Macomb County,
Michigan,
Michigan,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Just move out of the way.
We'll go over here. You want just a picture of you two, or you want me? Okay, all right. All right.
You want me?
Do you want to say a few words?
Thank you very much, Judge, for being here. And I want to thank my husband, who is trying to sneak out to the back there, for his support during this campaign. And I want to thank everyone who has supported me during my 2 years on the board and now coming to my 4 years. I look forward to working with all of you and serving the citizen of Clintondale School. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, and I look forward to working with you for another 2 or 4 years, I believe. The next person taking his oath of office is who affectionately I refer to as the dean of the board, the longest serving member over 2 terms, Mr. Michael Manning. Mr. Manning, I believe your sister's here with you.
Yes, she is.
Please come on up.
I'm gonna try to see if I need it, bring it. I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
How you doing there, Your Honor?
Good. Raise your right hand.
Sure.
You swear after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of the member of the Board of Education of Clintondale Community Schools.
One more time, one more time.
Yeah, of the office of a member
I'll put the office of the member
of the Board of
of the
Education
Board of Education
of Clintondale Community Schools,
of Clintondale Community Schools,
Macomb County,
Macomb County,
Michigan,
Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me Jesus, God.
Congratulations.
Mr. Manning, you want to make remarks?
Well, if anybody noticed, I barely made it in today. With the days that I have left in this world, Clintondale is a special place to me. And for as long as I can, I'm going to do my best as a board member. And I look forward to working with all of the electees and the incumbents that were here, that are already elected on this board. And I have faith in our board president that he's going to do the right thing with it, with the board. If not, we're going to have to talk to him a little bit, but we'll get him through this. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I look forward to working with you. The final person taking her oath this evening is current board president Felicia Kaminsky. Ms. Kaminsky?
We'll get it, please. Oh, go get it. Go get it.
Okay, raise your right hand. Swear after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the office of member
the office of member
of the Board of Education
of the Board of
of
Education
Clintondale Community
of
Schools,
Clintondale Community Schools,
Macomb County,
Macomb County,
Michigan,
Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, for coming, and I do appreciate that. I also want to thank to all the community members that have reached out, congratulated me, supported me. I look forward to serving 2 more years on this board. And again, thank you. I'm always reachable. Thank you very much.
Two more items, and then we'll get down to regular business. This evening, there are 2 presentations that need to be made. The first, Board of Education, I lay before you a resolution, and it reads, whereas Wilbur Jones has faithfully served as a member of the Clintondale Community Schools Board of Education, and whereas throughout Wilbur Jones's service, he has demonstrated a strong commitment to the mission, values, and vision of Clintondale Community Schools, and whereas Wilbur Jones has worked tirelessly to support and advocate for the success and well-being of all students, fostering a nurturing, equitable, and inclusive educational environment for students, staff, and families. Whereas Wilbur Jones has consistently exhibited a spirit of cooperation and collaboration, engaging with the community, supporting initiatives to advance the student achievement, and demonstrating sound stewardship of district resources. And whereas through Wilbur Jones's thoughtful contributions, Clintondale Community Schools has seen improvements in academic programs, school facilities, financial management, and student support services. And whereas the dedication, insight, and integrity displayed by Wilbur Jones have left an enduring impact on Clintondale Community Schools and have inspired fellow board members, educators, students, and community members. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Clintondale Community Schools Board of Education does hereby recognize and commend Wilbur Jones for his exemplary service and outstanding contributions to the Clintondale School District. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Wilbur Jones as a token of our deepest gratitude and high regard with our sincere wishes for his future endeavors. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be entered into the official minutes of the Board of Education meeting, ensuring that Wilbur Jones is honored and remembered by future generations. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Manning, is there support?
Support?
Support by Ms. Kaminsky. Mrs. Knope, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Manning.
Vote yes.
Ms. Kaminsky.
Votes yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Santini. I know it's kind of weird to do that, but Ms. Santini.
Humbled,
Yes.
humbled.
Ms. Valerio now, yes. Mr. Maynard.
Yes. Motion passes, resolution is adopted. Mr. Jones, if you would please join me down here at the podium. Go ahead. Mr. Jones, I present to you a plaque, and it reads, "Thank you," as a testimonial of sincere appreciation presented to Wilbur Jones, in honor and with deep appreciation of the distinguished and unselfish service given to Clintondale Community Schools while serving as a member of the Board of Education, 2024. Mr. Jones, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now look at the camera.
First of all, I'd like to thank the superintendent, Jared, and everybody that's on the committee, all the trustees and everybody. But it's been short and sweet, but God knows best. He knows. He knows your future, and you know it's about seasons. He puts us in seasons, and just to come and be on this board from I think it's March all the way up to now has been a blessing. So I tip my hats to my best friend who's taking over, his sister. So you're in good hands. It's been good to, come back home. So it's a little emotional for me, but God is good. Thank you.
All right, all right.
Board of Education, I lay the following resolution on the table. Whereas Diane Zontini has faithfully served as a member of the Clintondale Community Schools Board of Education, and whereas throughout Diane Zontini's service, she has demonstrated a strong commitment to the mission, values, and vision of Clintondale Community Schools, and whereas Diane Zontini has worked tirelessly to support and advocate for the success and well-being of all students, fostering a nurturing, equitable, and inclusive educational environment for students, staff, and families. And whereas Diane Zontini has consistently exhibited a spirit of cooperation and collaboration, engaging with the community, supporting initiatives to advance student achievement, and demonstrating sound stewardship of district resources. And whereas through Diane Zontini's thoughtful contributions, Clintondale Community Schools has seen improvements in academic programs, school facilities, financial management, and student support services. Whereas the dedication, insight, and integrity displayed by Diane Zontini left an enduring impact on Clintondale Community Schools and have inspired fellow board members, educators, students, and community members. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clintondale Community Schools Board of Education does hereby recognize and commend Diane Zontini for her exemplary service and outstanding contributions to the Clintondale Community Schools District. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Diane Zontini as a token of our deepest gratitude and with high regard, with our sincere wishes for her future endeavor. And it be it finally resolved that a copy of this resolution be entered into the official minutes of the Board of Education meeting, ensuring that Diane Zontini is honored and remembered by future generations. Board members, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there support? Mrs. Noak, would you call the roll?
Ms. Kaminsky.
Votes yes.
Mr. Manning.
Vote yes.
Ms. Valerio now, yes. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Maynard.
Yes.
Ms. Santini.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ms. Zontini, can you join me down here? Yep, don't worry.
Okay.
Mrs. Zontini, I present you with this plaque. It states, "Thank you, a testimonial of sincere appreciation presented to Diane Zontini in honor and with deep appreciation of the distinguished and unselfish service given to Clintondale Community Schools while serving as a member of the Board of Education for 2023 and 2024. Congratulations and thank you. Mrs. Zontini?
I have have just a few things to say. I had to write them down because I don't want to leave anyone out and I don't want to make any mistakes, okay? I'd like to thank the Clintondale Community Schools for appointing me as a trustee to serve on this board. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with all of you, I'm sorry my back's to you, and learned a lot as a school board member. Mr. Maynard, your vision and your leadership have been a guiding light. Thank you for everything. I knew I was going to get through it. Mr. Jenricks, your innovative ideas and strategies have propelled us forward in this district. Thank you for being a visionary. Mr. Powers, which is not here, but thank you for being the glue that held us together during challenging times. Your strength and leadership have been remarkable. For the rest of the remaining board members, thank you for bringing your best self to the table. Your dedication has been inspirational. I have a deep respect to all our teachers. You have an invaluable role in shaping the minds and futures of children. Thank you for your dedication and the challenges and sacrifices teachers often make. For the entire staff and employees of the district, thank you for your hard work and dedication. It's been a pleasure to know all of you, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
That will conclude our presentation portion. I'm going to turn this around and we'll get started with the regular meeting here. So if you just give me a second. Members, after the last public comment, I will provide time for each of you to give your own farewell to Mr. Jones and Ms. Zontini. Okay, I will now read a board statement. Board members, as you read my email this afternoon, I will answer your questions upstairs. I have recently received concerns from staff members that are deeply concerned about health insurance increases. Last month, Clintondale Community Schools was notified by the Michigan Education Special Services Association would be increasing health insurance rates for bargaining unit employees by 20%. MESA is the insurance provider previously selected through collective bargaining. It is undisputed that MESA's rate increase will have a substantial impact on employees. In response to the increase, the Clintondale Education Association has changed from MESA ABC 1 to MESA ABC Plan 2 through a letter of agreement. In addition, the Clintondale Community Schools Board of Education will approve a letter of agreement tonight with the association that addresses the massive MESA health insurance increases that will severely impact association members in January of 2025. Under Section 15 of the Public Employment Relations Act, or otherwise known as PARA, a public employer shall bargain collectively with the representatives of its employees. The selection of health insurance plan options is a mandatory bargaining subject under PARA. The district has previously negotiated, in good faith, the selection of MESA as the health insurance provider. Based on these significant health insurance increases, the board bargaining team will make a proposal that will address this issue. Since the selection of MESA plans is provided under the existing collective bargaining agreement, the district is required to maintain the status quo until a new agreement is reached with the union. Consequently, the district will be retaining MESA as its health insurance provider until a new arrangement is mutually agreed upon. The district is committed to good faith negotiations on this subject to the extent that the association submits additional proposals. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, correspondences. It's recommended by the board president and the superintendent that the board accept the correspondences and receive them from Rebecca Cowan, Saranda Pacho, and Darlene Bronson. Is there a motion to accept the correspondences?
I don't believe we approved
So
the.
moved.
Oh, the minutes. I wrote all over that. That's what happened here. So,
I do apologize.
thank you. I love being corrected. Thank you. I appreciate it. Approval of the minutes. Excuse me.
Agenda.
We did the agenda
We
already.
did, you're right.
Thank you. That much I know. I apologize. Approval of the minutes. The superintendent and the board president recommend the board approve the regular board meeting minutes for October 8th, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lisa Valerio Noak. Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Ms. Kaminsky. Are there any deletions, changes, board members? Hearing none. Ms. Valerio Noak, would you call the roll?
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes. Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Vote yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Zantini?
Yes.
Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you for pointing that out. Appreciate it. Orderly meeting is a good thing.
It is.
Correspondence. The superintendent and the board president recommend the board accept the correspondence and receive them from Darlene Bronson, Saranda Pacho, and Rebecca Cowan. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Lisa Valerio Noak. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Felicia Kaminsky. Board members, any discussion? Hearing none. Mrs. Valerio Noak, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes. Ms. Kaminsky?
Votes yes.
Mr. Manning?
Vote yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Zantini?
Yes.
Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Approval of the bills. The superintendent and the board president recommend the board approve the bills ending November 1st, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Kaminsky. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Zantini. Is there any discussion on the bills? Hearing none. Mrs. Valerio Noak, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Kaminsky?
Votes yes.
Ms. Zantini?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes. And Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. We are now at the portion of the meeting that is the student board representative report. Sorry to keep you guys a little longer than normal, but we want to know what you're thinking and hearing.
Good evening, everyone. So as quarter one has finally come to an end, finally, it was a very, very long quarter. Getting back into the swing of things. All I have to report is that I feel our district has definitely grown quite a bit. I think the motions that we've made to carry ourselves further out into Michigan I feel like we've been very successful. I've seen a lot of participation in families, in our community, especially when it comes to our gleaners. Everything has been growing exponentially, and I love to see the trickle down that we're trying to do to get the middle schoolers in line for high school. So, let's see, volleyball, we did, I say we, I was on varsity, and I was a player. We went 10-0 for our season, making Clintondale history. Thanks to Coach Heidi and Coach Morgan, leading us to success, and her motto was always classy, not trashy. So I think we showed them what Clintondale was about, and so I think that kind of concludes my report. Kurt, what are you gonna say, buddy?
Nothing much on my side. I'm just excited basketball is starting. First quarter is finally over. Second quarter, 30 more weeks of school. Can't wait for it to end. Yeah, I'm excited for basketball. For Ms. Zantini, Mr. Jones, you guys will be missed. Sad to hear that you guys are gone.
So board members, one quick item on their report that Brianna left out we have homecoming royalty here, both of them. Kurt, as you know, made junior court, and Abriana made senior court. And she hasn't been here for us to say congratulations on that. So, congratulations. Does anybody have any questions for them? No? Thank you guys very much. We are now moving on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Superintendent, sir, how do you got?
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Hasta mañana.
Hey, Brianna and Kurt were right. This is the longest section there during the school year. As many of you know, without a break or some time off. So they're totally accurate in terms of long stretch for them, start of the school year, but I appreciate all that they do. Wanted to update, I got 4 things to update today. 2 of them around our student growth and achievement, and 2 of them around our community engagement. So I'm going to continue with the focus of looking at our board goals with all of my updates. Around student growth and achievement, I was recently asked by a board member about some CTE updates, and I just wanted to come forward and say we have our CIP codes for all of our programs and all of our CTE programs. So they're all up to date. They're all updated with the state of Michigan with all of our programs. Our CTE programs are our culinary arts program, our arts, AV, technology and communication, media productions, marketing, as well as our teacher cadet. These CTE programs are a great opportunity for our kids because not only do they offer them some great real-life experiences, offer them an opportunity to maybe expand what they want to move into in their careers, but we also have a series of articulation agreements with universities. We've got articulation agreements with Ferris, Northern, Macomb Community College, Saginaw Valley, Washington Community College, as well as Baker and Adrian College. So our students that are taking all of our CTE programs not only have an opportunity to move on after they finish the programs with certificates and awards, but also some articulation agreements to move forward with some potential college credits for them. This is also the time of the year where I'm going to give you a small snippet before we go into a full presentation about student enrollment. Student enrollment, we continue to monitor. We continue to look to see what we're doing within our schools to continue to expand. This year, we transitioned one elementary school into an early childhood center to expand some of our early childhood offerings. We continue to expand those chances and those offerings for our community, but we also did look at our enrollment. From last year to this year at this time, we are down 75 students. From the year before, we were down 65. We're slowing down our overall decline in enrollment, but we need to continue to offer what I had mentioned before with some of our additional CTE programs, finding ways. I'll go into great detail here in the next month or so about an updated report about where our enrollment trends look like and where they're at across the district from the elementary. But these numbers also, they are also without our GSRP numbers. At this point right now, our GSRP numbers are higher than they were last year. We do have until January, February to finish filling those classes, so I'm optimistic that we continue to utilize some great marketing skills to grow our GSRP numbers, which will eventually help us. The other 2 areas were around community engagement. We have 2 activities coming up around the holidays around community engagement. This is not only a decoration, of course not by me, by wonderful Mrs. Wilson, our board executive assistant. We have our fall harvest coming up on Monday, which is a community dinner where we invite community members back in to have dinner and celebrate some of the great things we're doing, as well as looking forward, but also thanking them for all that they do for us. That is on Monday, November 18th, right here in our conference center. We also have a great opportunity coming up for our community with our holiday extravaganza and tree lighting. We will have staff singing, students singing. We'll have opportunities on December 16th, starting at 6:30 in our auditorium prior to our school board meeting. So please put it on your calendar. Look for the social media posts from Mrs. Hitchell as they come out. But I hope that you'll have a chance to come out for our extravaganza and our tree lighting.
Great. Does anybody have a question for the superintendent and his report? I will just say that that was some good news on the CTE courses. And I look forward to you producing more options for our students. It's fantastic. And with that, we'll move on from the next section of the agenda to presentation. Board members, the first presentation is the audit from Lewis and Knopf, and I believe the gentleman is here still. Yes, he is. Sir, come on up and present. And I apologize. I've seen you, this is like the fourth time, and
We're good.
I'm there. I apologize, but did we want to put this up on TV or no? No? Okay, just go ahead.
Okay. Can we all hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Kenny Rapoon. I'm a manager with Lewis and Knopf. I've handed out a couple of items around the table. I apologize. The printing numbers on these were odd, so if you didn't get a copy, you're supposed to have a copy. There might be some around. If not, we can get more down here. That's no problem. So of the three things I've handed out, the one thing I'm going over today is going to be the presentation, which is this, the paper PowerPoint. I'll just go through page by page and kind of run over everything we saw as the auditors this year. If we flip to this first page here, we have our auditor's opinion. So these first two pages we'll look at are the two auditor's opinion pages. It's really the meat of the entire presentation, the meat of what we did. We see here the district received a clean, unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance the district can have. Which this means that we cannot give absolute assurance that the financial statements are perfect. That's not how auditing can work. So what we do is through our testing, we lower we lower our risk to the point where we are materially correct. So those financial statements are free of material misstatements, meaning there might be some errors, nothing large enough to sway your influence or sway your opinion one way or another. We did have a few control issues noted, and we do have a new GASB standard this year, which is more of a change to our disclosures. It wasn't a change to the district. If we can flip to the next page, it's another opinion page. This is about our single audit. So when a district has more than $750,000 of federal revenues, they're subject to a single audit. We've had a single audit here for as long as I've been coming down here. We did look at two funds this year. We looked at the nutrition cluster, which is our food service program, as well as the ESSER funds for the last time. We'd like to hear that maybe. What we tested represented about 75% of the total federal revenues for the district. And we did have a few minor findings there as well, but nothing significant enough to take it to the next category. So we still had a clean opinion there. This next page we have, the rest of these are more statistical in nature, so I might be just scratching the surface, flipping through them quick, because, you can read the page and get the gist of what we're talking about. So this first one, change in fund balance. The big one we want to talk about is general fund. We did see an increase to fund balance there, finishing about 17%. The rest of the funds went up and down accordingly. This next page, we have our general fund revenues. So the total revenues for the district, we break it down to where they came from. So the main chunk, 73%, came from our state sources, so our state aid. And then another 13% was that federal revenues, with the remaining being our local revenues and any inter-district transfers and whatnot. If we go to the next page, now we flip it around, look at the general fund expenditures. And here we're looking at it by function code. About 53% went towards instruction for the students, and 43% went to support. So in total, that's 96%. So about 96 cents on every dollar went towards the instruction or support of our students, which for a school district, I think that's what we like to hear. And we do note here, we have a little comparison for school districts of similar size to Clintondale, and they're sitting in instruction about 59%, so we're not very far off. That number can sway year over year, so to go from 53 to 59, for me, it's not too much of a difference. So we're still pretty much in line with comparable districts across the state of Michigan. If we flip the page, we're looking at the same chunk of expenditures from the general fund. This time we're looking at it by object code. And the two main pieces here are our salaries and benefits, which comprise of approximately 79%, which is on par with the average we see across the state of Michigan. Typically, we'll see about 75 to 85% of the general fund expenditures go towards those salaries and benefits. As the years have gone on, contracted services are becoming more and more prevalent. That skews that percentage down a little bit, but from the traditional sense, we're still right in line. If we go to the next page, we do show a little map of the change in fund balance over the prior years. We'll see that large spike after 2020, which was the introduction of a lot of extra funding via COVID, which really just kickstarted that fund balance coming back up. If you go to the next page, we look at the student count over the years. So again, we'll look at the student count because that directly impacts the revenues. So as the auditors, that's something we care about. And we'll see it was relatively steady and then had that steep drop, which was the removal of the ATS students. So that would explain that change. And then since then, it's dropped a little bit, but relatively stable-ish. This next page we look at, we break down the long-term debt for the district. So the big pieces here being our general obligation bond, so that's our capital projects, as well as the what we call notes from direct borrowings, which that's going to be the Michigan School Bond Loan Fund, and then a smaller piece being the lighting lease we have within the district. Next page, we'll compare our budget to actual. So part of our auditing procedures, we will look at the final budgets, compare them to the actual expenditures, and just make sure we were in line with the standards that are in place there. We did see roughly $324,000 under budget for revenues. So we came in a little under. However, we came in $2.4 million under budget for our expenditures. So what was budgeted as a $1 million deficit to fund balance ended up being a $1 million increase to fund balance. This next page is NIPSR's pension and OPEB. So state of Michigan, some years ago, decided that the pension liabilities were no longer going to be shown on their books. We're going to spread that across the state of Michigan. Every school district will report their share of the liability. To put into perspective, the current year unfunded liability for the NIPSR's pension is $32.4 billion. This has no direct effect on the general fund. This is essentially an adjustment on the government-wide statements. It does put the district into a net deficit on that front page, but again, it's not a liability the district will have to pay tomorrow. It's more or less just a reflection of the status of that pension liability. That's all I really need to talk about with that one. And then with that, that's actually the end of my presentation. I just want to say thank you to the board for having us back again this year. Thank you to Presley and the staff. We were able to navigate the audit without hiccups at all. And with that, I think we can open up some questions if we have any.
Is there questions from the board for Ken, our presenter here this evening? No? Okay.
Well, excellent. So thank you all again for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem. I like to be done. I mean, I've never seen a board member get sworn in before. That was kind of cool. So, excellent. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
How can you forget his name?
Because I forgot it 3 times a century. I know when it's yours, too, I know. Our next presentation, board members, is from our school resource officer. In terms of Clinton, I will set him up, Mr. Victor, Officer Victor. Clinton Township has approved an ordinance where students who fight can be ticketed by Officer Victor and the gentleman behind him this evening. So I'd like Officer Victor to make a presentation and sort of inform the board and the community how this is going to work and what our children can expect if they decide to throw hands. So, Mr. Victor?
Good evening, everybody. Most of you know me. If you don't, my name's Timothy Victor. I'm a detective with Clinton Township Police Department, and I'm assigned out as a school resource officer of this district over Clintondale schools. So just recently the township board passed an ordinance for fighting on school grounds. It passed on October 14th. It was published and officially went into effect on Monday the 14th. I'm going to read the definition of the fighting so we all understand it, and then I'm going to actually read the whole ordinance, and then I'll get into a few things of why we did this. All right, 658.05 is school fighting. Fighting is defined as a personal violence between 2 or more persons, which include, but is not limited to, punching, grabbing, wrestling, pulling, shoving, slapping, or other unpermitted physical contact or threat of physical contact. School property is defined as a physical presence on the real property owned or leased by a school, including but not limited to presence at a school-sponsored event, a bus, school-provided transportation, or any other location during transfer to and from school or any school-sponsored or related event. School property further includes property not owned by the school where a school-sponsored event is occurring, including adjacent parking areas or other areas used to travel to the location of the event. School fighting includes events occurring during occurring during, after, or before school hours or other social or sporting events hosted by any school, at any school. School fighting prohibited. No person shall engage, participate, or otherwise be involved in any fighting on school property. This is the ordinance. Persons who violate section 658.05 is responsible for a civil infraction, punishable by a fine of not more than $100 plus costs for a first offense, plus any court-ordered remedial requirements. A second or subsequent violation shall result in a fine of up to $500 plus costs and any court-ordered remedial measures. The court may require a person who violates this section to participate in anger management or a similar type of program if available. Persons ordered to participate are responsible for the costs for any remedial measures or programs as ordered by the court. The court may further order any person found responsible for a civil infraction to perform community service as well. That is the ordinance that was passed and written by the township. And real quick, I want to pause. This is Captain Brandon Blake, my wonderful boss. All right, so when I started here back in March, we had quite a few fights, and it's not just our school. This ordinance is not just for Clintondale at all. This is for the whole township. Any school, St. Thecla, Chippewa, any school in our district, any school-sponsored event, so, and at any age too. This goes for adults, kids. If you want to come after hours to the school and fight, if you want to meet up here, a lot of times, you know, Instagram, TikTok, things like that, kids will link up and fight. With this ordinance, we have discretion, so it's not everybody's just gonna get a citation. Obviously, as a district, you guys have provided a lot of restorative practices. So before we just start issuing kids these, obviously we go through the steps of trying to find the fight, trying to figure it out. If we can spot the fight, we're gonna figure that out, pull it into the assistant principal's office or whatever, have a meeting to try to alleviate this. So we go through steps before these tickets are gonna get issued. Discretion, you know, we're not gonna write up a 6-year-old kid or a 7-year-old kid that's at Parker, right? This is gonna be more for our high schoolers or our middle schoolers, some elementary kids as well, depending on, hey, if you fought 5 or 6 times and you've been suspended and you're just not understanding the suspension. Some things that we're running into are you're getting suspended, you go home, you serve your 5-day suspension, you come back and you go back at it again. So this is gonna hopefully be an eye-opener to curtail the problem. It's not all about the money. The money's there, hopefully for an eye-opener, but that can be wiped in court as well. So they will have to see a magistrate, they will have to go through that. This is more focused on possibly the community service, anger management. Convenience somebody, go pass out food at a food bank for 8 to 12 hours on a Saturday instead of playing your video games. And then the judicial system, this was a big, when we presented this. Right now, if we charge assault and battery for a juvenile, we're gonna take them back to the station and we're gonna fingerprint them. So now this is on their criminal history. So this is gonna alleviate them being put into the judicial system as a juvenile. This is just like a speeding ticket. It's not gonna be on their record. It's a fine, you pay it, and the only people that are gonna know is our system and the courts. So it will not permanently be on your record. That was big for us when we passed this. Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, I think that. If anybody's got any questions, I'd go in more in the depth and, yes, sir.
Mr. Manning, you have a question?
Thank you, Felicia.
Yep.
Like in many cases in court, when a judge gives the person that did the crime fines, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's probably in the 90s, that the kid never pays it, that it's always the parents that end up paying the bill. So we had 2 kids, they're fighting, the judge says, you know, whatever, you owe $20, you owe $20. It seems like the parents are the ones that always seem to get that financial hit. Is there a way that we can maybe barter it into where instead of monies, that these kids might have to do a little painting, or they might have to do something around the school and barter their fine off? Is that in stone, like how you guys are gonna do that yet, or?
Yes, so like I said, the community service aspect, so the judge or magistrate could order, you know, you go out and do 24 hours of community service within the next month, and we will wipe these fines.
Right.
So that is a possibility,
Right.
yes. That's why there's
Right.
heavy discretion on this, and
Right.
that the magistrate understands that as well, and,
It's just my point is, from being, my job as, before I retired was in court, so, I mean, constantly, over and over and over and over and over and over, I see parents get bankrupted first. And the kid, I mean, I'm sure at home, they pay a little hell and for it and stuff like that, but I just want the kids to start being the ones that are responsible and accountable and have to take care of that, instead of the parents always having to, you know, it hits
Correct.
their bank account.
yep,
That's
absolutely.
all.
And I totally agree with you on that, and sometimes it starts at home. So when these kids are constantly getting suspended and things aren't happening at home, well, maybe this is gonna be the eye opener of where the parents are gonna have to pay. Just like if I was outside and I broke somebody's window and I'm a kid, parents are gonna end up having to pay for that.
And how about if we have habitual offenders?
Habitual, so that's why there's a second offense. So obviously, it's just like any other habitual, right? So after your second offense, it's gonna stay at the second offense. You can't go to third. It'll just keep going to $500.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
I would envision on that note, you know, after several tickets, it's eventually get turned back into an assault and battery. And at that point in time, they would probably enter the criminal justice system, where an arrest would be made, fingerprints, and carry on that process, right? At some point in time, the ticket's still then not working, we gotta, you know, do something different.
I'm just, the reason why I'm a little bit active with this particular issue is because I just think it's going on a little bit too much in society today, and not just here. But the fighting and the throwing chairs at teachers and the F-bombs to teachers and, I mean, it just seems like the control, I mean, like the adults are losing the control over the kids, and the wackos are controlling the jail. So, you know, it needs to be cleaned up, and something needs to be done. And I'm glad you guys came up with this, and who's ever responsible, thank you, Jesus. I mean, something had to be done because it's getting out of hand.
So yes, sir. So obviously, the number one thing in our schools is safety. Safety of the students, safety of the teachers. So when we have a fight, which a lot of these fights are fueled by boyfriend-girlfriend issues, Instagram, Facebook. I mean, these are our number one issues that are fueling these fights. Where when we went to school, Facebook really wasn't around. Well, it started to come out when I was around. But it is, it's fueling the fire. And a
Something's
fight,
going on your performance review.
a fight in our school today will disrupt the whole day.
Yeah.
By people taking videos. I mean, when I say within seconds of videos airdropped to probably 50 other kids that were around.
Right,
I mean, just within seconds. So hopefully this is why this ordinance came out too, is to hopefully curtail that and to wake kids up. Like, wow. And a few tickets have already been issued. I see them, and I'll get to you here in a second. A few
Okay.
tickets have been issued, and once that ticket was issued, the kid was, wow, I gotta pay this much money. I have to do this. And so hopefully it woke him up, and I sat there and explained to him, hey, hopefully this is educational for you, and you learn from this mistake, and you don't do it again. So that's the principle behind this.
Mrs. Milk, you have a question?
Yeah, I did. You kind of answered it, but I'm still kind of curious. Is Clinton Township the first in the county to do something like this? No?
No, ma'am.
And where they have tried it before, they found success in doing this with the
Yes,
curbing it?
and I could speak on that. I started in East Point in 2015, and I was there till 2022 before I joined Clinton Township Police Department. And we came out, East Point came out with a similar ordinance
Okay.
for this, and it helped tremendously within the schools. And that ordinance was adopted in 2018, but Fraser has it, similar ordinance, Warren, Sterling Heights, Roseville, so there's plenty of
So
places.
we're
that-
following the trend.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Is it a way to tie in the filming of it as well? Not only for fights, but anything derogatory, filming the teachers, the social media part of that, passing it along and putting it out there, is it a way to get the students' attention that's doing that, take their phones, destroy them?
I wish, we can't do quite that, but I do know, from a school administration standpoint, from the principals, they do, if they can pinpoint a kid that filmed it, they will suspend them. As far as writing a ticket, this ordinance for that, I don't think we can write it now. Kids make on Instagram fight pages. And if we can prove that it was on school grounds, and there are fight pages out there that we try to get into and figure this out, because they're made every single day, and they catch on and they just make another one. Those we can write for. This is, and I know I briefly touched, I read the ordinance, but we as a school, right, we're responsible for a kid until they get home.
Right.
So when they're walking from here to Normandy Park and they wanna go fight, this ticket can technically still be issued. They're in transportation to home. So a lot of them that stop and they take videos there, we can take action on that.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate all your time.
Mrs. Zantini, did you have that? Mrs. Kaminsky? No. Okay, I just want to, for the sake of all of our students who watch this, and there are plenty of them who do, throwing hands is never an option. Hitting a teacher is never an option. And I would like you to just repeat very clearly what happens when you throw hands.
Well, let me start with this. If you hit a teacher, there is not gonna be a ticket. You're gonna go to the assault and battery charge. So we're gonna go to the judicial system. So if you do hit a teacher, that's gonna go to you guys as a board.
I know I have to, our new policy brings that directly to the board, but I
throwing
have to
hands,
say
as you
that.
say, Mr. Maynard, you will be fined. You will be fined. You will get ticketed, and you will continue to get ticketed. And along with that is community service, anger management classes, so forth and so on. And we can see that through our systems that we have in the school, because it gets entered into Power School, or our system as well, how many times you have fought. And that is gonna be told, hey, it's your 4th or 5th time, obviously you're not getting this. But there will be consequences.
Good. Mr. Superintendent?
I just wanted to thank Captain Blake for being here, Officer Victor. We're talking today about a fine for fighting, but I want to thank you for the relationships you build with the kids here every day. The time that you spend in the hallways, not only here, the middle school, over at the elementaries, it's greatly appreciated. The relationship that we have with Clinton Township Police and what you do in the schools is phenomenal. So thank you for supporting this ordinance and moving it forward. You've done a wonderful job, but also thank you for what you do every day.
And thank you for having us, and thank you for supporting as well, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having us back. We're very happy to be back here.
Yes.
Nice to be back in the schools.
I think this has been great for us to have you
Absolutely,
back here.
absolutely.
So, and if you all have a moment, when you take a tour, stop in his office. Ken will take you by his office, and he can show you what happens when you phone in a threat. I saw the video. Felt bad, so those are some items. So does anybody have any other issue? I hope students who are listening here have a complete understanding that we're no longer playing around.
No, we are not.
We are not. So, Officer Victor, Captain, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Officer Victor, I believe throw hands is what the kids call it. Public comment regarding business before the board. We encourage you to voice your opinion on topics on the agenda. Please stand and be recognized by the board president and state your name and address before commenting. To provide the opportunity for all to participate, board policy limits each individual to 3 minutes. To ensure due process and respect of individual rights, the district maintains a formal complaint process for handling complaints against individuals. A problem involving an individual or individuals or a specific incident is best handled through administrative channels. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. Speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law, defamation, or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. At this time, is there any member of the public wishing comment on anything on the agenda this evening? Okay, seeing none, board members, we're gonna roll through the work. For the first time in a long time, we have no consent agenda items.
Wow.
Okay? Right on to non-consent. Did you have something for me before I start? No? Okay. First, resignation. The superintendent and the director of human resources recommend the board approve the resignation of Darlene Bronson, an ECSE teacher, effective at the end of the day, November 15th, 2024. Is there a motion to accept the resignation?
So moved.
Mr. Manning, is there support?
Support.
Ms. Kaminsky. Any discussion, board members? Hearing none. Mrs. Valerio Noak, would you call the roll?
Mr. Manning.
Vote yes.
Ms. Kaminsky.
Votes yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Zantini.
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes, and Mr. Maynard.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Number 2, resignation. The superintendent and the director of human resources recommend the board approve the resignation of Sharonda Patchell, speech pathologist, effective at the end of the day, November 26, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Kaminsky. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Manning. Any discussion, board members? Hearing none. Ms. Valerio Noak, would you call the roll?
Ms. Kaminsky.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Zantini.
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes, and Mr. Maynard.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. 3, resignation. The superintendent and the director of human resources recommend the board approve the resignation of Rebecca Cowan, instructional assistant, effective at the end of the day, October 25th, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Kaminsky. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Jones. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Valerio Noak, would you call the roll?
Ms. Kaminsky.
Votes yes.
Mr. Jones.
Votes yes.
Ms. Zantini.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes, and Mr. Maynard.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. 4, letter of agreement, school psychologist, social worker, and speech pathologist. The superintendent and the director of human resources recommend the board approve the letter of agreement dated November 4th, 2024 between the administration and the CEA that allows the district to count years of experience earned in the clinical and medical environment when determining step placement at time of hire. Board members, this is done under Goal 1, or Strategic Goal 1, which is to recruit and retain talent to support and enhance student success. Is there a motion to approve the letter of agreement?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Kaminsky. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Secretary Noak. Any discussion? Mr. Superintendent, can you briefly let the board know how this helps you?
What this allows us to do in terms of hiring for school psychologists, social workers, and speech pathologists, what'll happen sometimes, individuals that go into this field may spend time in a clinical setting, may spend time in a hospital type setting, supporting students, supporting adults. What this allows us to do is to take that experience after becoming certified, if they have experience outside of education, to count those years of service. So when they come in, let's say they've spent 10 years at a hospital doing this work, they're not coming in at the base. We're able to utilize those years of service, which allows us in a critical shortage situation to continue to hire individuals, even though for some of them it's still very challenging. When we do find quality applicants, we can utilize some of those years of service to bring them in.
Okay. Seeing no comments or discussion. Mr. Manning?
In what capacity, though, I mean, the criteria for these jobs, are they?
They have to be within their field. So if they've gone to school to be a speech pathologist, and maybe they're working in a trauma center or a hospital of some kind, as long as they've been working as a speech pathologist prior to coming to us, we can use those years of service as a speech pathologist and count them towards their service coming in.
Okay. There's nothing like experience.
Seeing no other comments, Mrs. Valerio Noak, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Kaminsky.
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Ms. Zantini.
Yes.
Mr. Maynard.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Number 5, letter of agreement, change in insurance plan option. The superintendent and the director of human resources recommend the board approve the letter of agreement dated October 4th, 2024 between the administration and the CEA that defines new language in the CEA MESSA ABC Plan 2 and MESSA Essentials Plan options. Is there a motion to approve the letter of agreement?
So moved.
Trustee Manning, is there support?
Support.
Support by Vice President Kaminsky. Mr. Superintendent, did you want to speak on this?
I'm actually going to call on Lee, give a little update on terms of this one. Could you speak to it a little bit more? Yeah, thank you.
Director Walmsley?
This change in insurance plan will help the CEA members who opt to take the Mesa insurance. It's a higher deductible plan, but it's a lower cost to the CEA members. It's more affordable to the CEA members. Like Mr. Maynard said, or President Maynard said earlier, the Mesa insurance has gone up 20%. It will go up 20% in January. By making this change in the plan, it will make the insurance more affordable to the CEA members.
And Lee, if I could just ask you, off the top of your head, in January, is it a monthly or is it a per pay? And if it's per pay, what's the per pay increase to each of our members?
Well, it depends on if you're single, two-person or family, but it could be about $200 more per CEA for each CEA member.
Per paycheck or per month?
Per month.
Per month, okay. Thank you. Any other comments from Mrs. Walmsley? Director Walmsley, excuse me? No? Hearing none. Mrs. Valerian Oak, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Zantini?
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk? Yes. And Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Item number 6, speech pathologist. The superintendent and the director of human resources recommend the board approve Kristen Franzak as a speech pathologist effective November 20th, 2024, contingent upon approval, approved physical, fingerprints, and records checked. Again, board, this falls under strategic goal 1, which is to recruit and retain talent to support and enhance student success. Is there a motion to approve the hiring of Kristen?
So moved.
Vice President Kaminsky, is there support?
Support.
Support by trustee Zantini. Board members, is there any discussion? Mrs. Walmsley, perhaps, did you want to give a brief about this position?
Sure. All I can say is we're very lucky to bring on Mrs. Franzak. She has extensive experience in the medical field prior to coming into the schools. She will be an asset to the students at Parker, because I believe she's going to be placed at Parker Elementary.
Great. Mr. Superintendent, go ahead, and if you could state that.
And her years of service, we'll be able to honor their previous years of service.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is good news. Mrs. Valerian Oak, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Kaminsky?
Votes yes.
Ms. Zantini?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk? Yes. And Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Welcome to Clintondale, Ms. Franzak. We look forward to meeting you.
Is she here?
She is
is
here?
not.
She is not here. Pilot program number 7, pilot program. The superintendent and the board president recommend the board approve the pilot program for virtual/blended school psychologists, social workers, and speech pathologists. Is there a motion to approve the program?
So moved.
Motion by Secretary Noak. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Jones. Mr. Superintendent, sir, I think you should make a few comments on this for us. Thank you.
You've heard me say it before, it's one of our strategic goals in terms of attracting and retaining staff members. With this pilot program, we're looking to be able to offer a wider net to attract additional individuals to come to Clintondale Community Schools by offering a virtual/blended program for our school psychologists, social workers, and speech pathologists. This program, the rationale is really just due to the critical shortage of these individuals for us to be able to find and fill these unfilled positions. Currently, we're without school psychologists and we're relying on the ISD for additional support. Our hope is that being able to offer this unique opportunity, we're going to be able to expand our net in terms of how we can attract additional individuals. It may be support us of attracting them because they're farther away, or the opportunity to work in a virtual or blended schedule. But really the whole idea behind it is this: the utilization of technology to try to offer some of these supports to support our kids, which is why we are here. So our overall hope is that we're able to find additional supports utilizing this technology that we already have in the school. We don't have to purchase anything, but a way to maybe assess students for special education services, maybe support them depending on the age, depending on where they're at cognitively, just an additional opportunity. It's really our goals is to enhance student access to school psychologists, social workers, speech pathologists, support existing special education staff, as well as IEP compliance, continuing to stay compliant. Our goals really timeline is to look to the next 3.5 years, all the way to the 27-28 school year of this program, to look at the effectiveness of it. When you start looking at the structure, these individuals will have the opportunity to work in that blended setting, and our budget overall, depending on our vendor selection, depending on staffing services, will really depend, but we do not intend to spend more money than what we would already have had spent if we were to hire these people in-house. So just that huge opportunity for us. By introducing the virtual blended school psychologists, social workers, and speech pathologists, the district will be able to provide students with on-demand support in both initial assessments for IEPs, reevaluations, as well as additional supports. The appeal of this virtual and blended structure will allow us to utilize a wider area when searching for individuals to fill these positions, as well as attract individuals that don't have this type of flexibility. But overall, our intent is to be able to offer that technology side of things, that technology age that we live in, and try to offer the supports for our kids.
Mr. Superintendent, that sounds like a great program and a great way to move forward. Does the board have any questions for the superintendent? So, ma'am, at this point during in public comment, we will invite you up to the podium and come for public comment, and then we can answer your question at that point. And just so you know, we'll answer it to the best that we can, given, because we have certain constrictions as well, so we'll do our best to answer it for you, I promise. Okay, any other discussion, board members? Nope. Okay, Mrs. Valerio Noak, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Valerio Noak, yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Zantini?
Yes.
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Board members, item number 8, the superintendent and the board president recommend the board enter into a closed session as authorized by Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act to discuss an employee matter. Is there a motion?
So moved.
By Vice President Kaminsky. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Jones. Mrs. Noak, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Zantini?
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Noak, yes. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
And Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Number 9, the superintendent and the board president recommend the board enter into a closed session as authorized by Section 8H of the Open Meetings Act to discuss attorney-client privilege communication. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Kaminsky. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Manning. Mrs. Valerio Noak, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Zantini?
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Noak, yes. And Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Board members, the final closed session, the superintendent and the board president recommend the board enter into a closed session as authorized by Section 8, subsection C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act to discuss contract negotiations. Is there support?
So moved.
That is moved by trustee Manning. Is there support?
Support.
Support by trustee Jones. Mrs. Valerio Noak, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Zantini.
Yes.
Ms. Kaminsky.
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes, and Mr. Maynard.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Board, we are now moving into general comment. We will be coming out of closed session, so in case anybody wants to wait around, we will be coming out of closed session, but we're going to do public comment now. We encourage you to voice your opinion on topics not on the agenda. Please stand and be recognized by the board president and state your name and address before commenting. To provide the opportunity for all to participate, board policy limits each individual to 3 minutes. To ensure due process and respect of individual rights, the district maintains a formal process for handling complaints against individuals. A problem involving an individual or individuals or specific incident is best handled through the administrative channels. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. Speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. Is there a member of the public wishing to have comment? Ma'am, if you want to ask your question, this would be the time. Would you just please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Janae Lewis. I am the mother of Jordan Lewis. He goes to Parker Elementary.
You talk more into the mic, please?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you
There,
now.
now I
Okay.
can hear you.
I'm Janae Lewis. I am the mother of Jordan Lewis. He goes to Parker Elementary. Right now, he is in the 4th grade. And he has the IEP. And he is in a classroom in the now as to where he's in a class with kids who are nonverbal. And these kids are on a different level than he is. And last year, he was in a regular class, and they would pull him out for resource room. I could ask him, anytime, what did you do today in school? And it'll always be something. It'll be math, it'll be reading, or we did Alexis. And now I ask him, what is it that you do in school? And it's just kind of like, they're not sending home homework. I finally just started getting home just review work just in general. And I kept asking, my mom kept asking, and I'm just not understanding how do you expect, kids to grow if homework is not being sent home. There's times where I check his book bag and they have coloring pages in them. My son is going on 10 years old. He shouldn't be in class, coloring, paper. Like, I just don't understand it. How do you expect for somebody of his age to grow if they're in a class with somebody who's nonverbal? Sometimes kids tend to pick up on what it is that they see on a daily basis. My kids, he's starting to revert because of the factor that, he's in a classroom with people that's different than he is. What is your criteria as far as making sure, kids get homework? I mean, because if a parent is not asking, what it is that your guys are doing in school, then we have no way of knowing. I mean, that's how the teacher and the parents are supposed to work together. But I have no way of knowing that if homework is not being sent. I heard that Mr. Myers was supposed to be in his classroom. I just don't feel like as though Ms. Jenkins is the best fit. My son is coming home with toys. Again, he's 9 years old. I want him to grow. He does have potential. He's not on the low spectrum. He talks, he knows his name, and if a kid can be nosy, then a kid knows he can do a whole lot more. I'm just saying. I was told that it would be better for him to go in that classroom because it was a small group. He would be able to get that one-on-one attention. And then now I don't feel that way.
Does that complete your comment?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. What we're going to do here is, normally we do not engage directly when comments are made.
Oh, okay.
But with this particular information is the guy to my right, as I stated in Ken here, our superintendent, as I stated in the beginning, he is the administrative channel. Once we break before we go upstairs, once we break, before we go upstairs, he will come and talk to you, get your phone number, and follow up with this situation, and he will let all of us know what is happening and what was the best interest, and get the wheels moving for you in a more positive direction.
Okay, thank you.
You're
When we
very
get a
much
par-
welcome. Thank
When
you.
we get a parent or family member up here that is showing the kind of concern that you are, we're definitely gonna work with you, because that's what we do here, and I don't want people being lost in shuffles, so thank you for stepping up and bringing it to our attention.
Okay. Is there anybody else having public comment this evening? Mr. Walmsley, nothing on athletics? No? Okay.
42-0.
With that, public comment is closed for the evening. It is 7:55. Board members, be upstairs at 8 o'clock. We're going to go into recess for our closed
8:05.
sessions.
05.
Facebook.
Can I ask for new feet?
No.
Then my feet can actually
Can't you just
touch
turn
the
it?
ground?
Just turn it.
No, it's not working.
This thing goes right here, moves it up and down. Moves mine up and down.
Well, I don't want to be too far down. Then like
Or-
the picture that
Wait,
Jim.
you have that thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, that'll work.
You have your thing.
Jim took a picture. You see me at my head. So a floating head with,
Oh, I can't wait.
Going
He's
in.
gonna send that to me.
Halloween. Came a little late. That's okay.
Are we all down?
I think so.
Clarence, are we up? 9:23, we're back in session. What?
I'll tell you later.
Before we adjourn, this could quite possibly be the last meeting for both Diane and Wilbur. So I will start with Mr. Manning. Do you have anything that you would like to say to Mrs. Zantini and Mr. Jones?
Absolutely.
Okay?
Ms. Zantini, I'm sorry you lost your election. I know it meant a lot to you to get in there over there. I kind of heard you talking about it a few times. I wish you would have won in the township. I really do. I wish you would have won. I think your attributes and everything that makes you who you are, you would have fit in perfect over there, and you would have did a lot of good. I really do. Just drink beer and watch football. Okay? Take it easy. Don't get in other people's drama. Let it alone. Just watch football. Go Lions. That's it.
Mrs. Noak?
Oh, truly it has been an honor to work with both of you. I've gotten to know, I wish I could know Wilbur a little bit better, but thank you for your service. And Dantina, you're my neighbor, so don't be a stranger, and thank you for all that you've done and your wisdom.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Mrs. Kaminsky?
It has been an honor and a pleasure. Diane, you offered worlds of experience and advice and clarity on so many subjects. To say you will be missed, I will miss serving with you. Mr. Jones, very, very seldom do you meet good huggers. And again, honor, privilege, truly, to serve with you. A stand-up citizen in the community, military background, your love for the children and making them better in a world that can be so cruel to them. You get it. You get it. And that's what I will miss about you. So thank you. Thank you, and I hope and I pray that we still get to see you guys from time to time. Come. The table is open.
Mr. Superintendent?
Just want to thank both of you. It's been an honor, a privilege to meet you, Mrs. Zantini. Our interactions, your vision, your experience that you shared, I greatly appreciate it. Being my first time as a superintendent, sitting on the board, it means a lot, sitting across the table from all of you. Mr. Jones, I greatly appreciate the interactions we've had, the conversations, your love and your dedication for Clintondale Community Schools. I think for both of you, this last year has been a giant year. We've done some amazing things together. You talk a lot about a leader and what happens afterwards. And unfortunately for both of you, it's things that are going to continue that happened afterwards that'll continue to be the things you had an input on. from student learning to safety and security, to all the amazing things that we've started here on this journey to move Clintondale forward. You're on the ground floor helping out, moving us forward. So thank you for all that you do. It's my line, don't be a stranger, and thank you for your continued support for Clintondale.
I will just close with two things. Mr. Jones, when I read your resume, I was impressed. I thought it was something we really needed here at Clintondale, not just the ROTC, but the perspective that you have brung to the board. I have enjoyed getting to know you, and I have enjoyed when I've needed your counsel, how you have provided it and the clarity that has come from it. And that is something that I hope to avail myself with what I can legally do with you for the future here. Truly in it for the children. And on a side note, if you ever need a DJ, I'm telling you, it's a fantastic DJ right there. He knows he knows how to roll with it. So I have known Mrs. Zontini since I was a lot skinnier and a heck of a lot less gray hair. And I'll leave that one there. And I have seen Mrs. Zontini in different races. I have seen Mrs. Zontini tackle issues. I have seen Mrs. Zontini open her home to people she barely knows. And I have seen her be the person she is, no matter who is around her. And that's a rarity in this business. And I have seen the dedication that she has put in here at Clintondale. And our students are going to benefit from a lot of the things that both of you have done, but they will never know. They don't know our discussions up there. They don't know all of that. And I think that certainly you will both be missed. And what Mrs. Zontini brings and what Mr. Jones brought is what this board needed at the time that they brought it. And it helped us through some situations. I remember interviewing you, and Diane, and I asked you a question, and you maybe clarify it 3 or 4 times until you got it together, and then said, "This is what it is." "Oh, I got it now." And you stuck with it to make sure you understood it. And I think that studiousness is what made you a great board member on top of it, that willing to grab it. And Mr. Jones, when I interviewed you here, the most glaring thing was you were open to everything. You were open to hear all sides, providing a decision and helping move forward, in each in your own way. The stuff we've done, it took a steel spine, and it took a willingness to learn, and I think you both brought that in spades to all of us. And it will be missed, and I will certainly miss both of you, but, don't be blocking my phone number, okay? And Diane, you're not off the hook, any more cookies. And Wilbur, we're definitely gonna sit down and watch a basketball game, and, something here. With that, do you two have any final parting comments?
Yeah, I just want to say, y'all are special. I done been in a room with some powerful people in my life. But to be on I never thought a school board was like this. Even as a teacher for 20 years, I never knew that this would be going on in the school board. The love, Mr. Manning, how you dissect and you get into everything. You got something for everybody. No, that's good. We're gonna miss you, It's great. God is good. And he positions the right people for the right time. So I already know, whether to get elected or y'all put me in a seat. It's God's will for my time there. I already knew that. So, but this is my school. I love Clintondale, and so thank you.
Very well.
Mrs. Zantini?
Just to say thank you to everyone. I learned a lot. It's been a great honor to work with everyone. I agree with Mr. Jones when he said it's the will of God. And even regarding my campaign, I'm proud of over 23,863 people.
That's nothing to sneeze
And you
about.
notice how I know exactly that number. And it's like Mr. Jones said, in my belief too, it's where God leads us. But it's really been a wonderful experience and a learning experience, and I want to thank all of you. So thank you so much, and thank you for the kind words and the plaque and everything. As you know, I just
See, that's awesome, the way you remembered.
I love you all.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Instead of worrying about who didn't vote for you, when you just glowed when you talked about that
Yes.
number and about the people that thought enough to vote for you. And you know what, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So with that, Mr. Jones, are you offering a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Mrs. Zantini, are you seconding the motion?
I second the motion, yes.
With that, Mrs. Valerio Noak, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Zantini,
Yes.
Mr. Manning,
Yes.
Ms. Kaminsky,
Yes.
Ms. Valerio now, yes, and Mr. Maynard.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. We are adjourned at 9:34 PM.
See you.
Friday.